Hi, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to another episode of Jash Reads. Tonight, we are going to be continuing to read Animorphs number 10, The Android by K.A. Applegate. And yeah, Friday I just slept. I, I, I was like, I feel tired, I'm going to take a nap. And it'll be enough time for me to record and stuff. But then I had dinner with, Rev Resner. A new episode of The Boys came on, and then we binged like the behind the scenes little show They do now for that show. And then by the time, everything was over, it was around like maybe a little after 2. And I was like, yeah, that that won't give me that much time to record, you know, do everything to post this everywhere, and then get to sleep at a reasonable hour. So, yeah. And today I woke up. I woke up really early, got some blood work done. Just normal thing. Nothing's going wrong. It's just, daily. It's just sort of a thing you do now and again when you're on medication. So, yeah, so I ended up coming back home. I just fell straight asleep. I uncovered the birds a little bit, and then it was like I was out for hours, and I then gave time myself time to wake up. So yeah, this should have come out way earlier because I'm like, yeah, I got home, I can do stuff, and it's like I can sleep. So yeah. Turns out one of the medications I've been taking because vertigo's been getting bad has been making me really sleepy, so I'm trying to cut back down on that unless I absolutely need to, because currently vertigo's been so bad I've been taken to prescribe 3 times a day. That's not really been working out, so I'm going to change that and hope that my vertigo has actually gotten better for a little bit. So that's my little update. Now let's actually get to the part of the video where you actually care about. So, yeah. I woke up on the ground, not a floor, the ground, dirt and leaves. I sat up very fast. I looked at my body. Human! I said. I wanted to cry from the sheer relief of being myself again. Myself and alive. I looked around. Jake, Cassie, Rachel, Axe, all there. All human. Except for Axe, of course. Tobias was perched in the tree above us. Someone else was there too. I heard a voice sobbing. You okay, Marco? Jake asked. Yeah, yeah. Oh, man. Man, I was so close to being dead. Yeah, you were, Jake said solemnly. He gave you an electric shock to start your heart again. Who did? Jake jerked his head toward the source of the crying. It was Erek, sitting in the dirt with his head down. Where are we? I asked. Little bunch of trees just down from Matcom, or what's left of Matcom. How did we get here? How did we get out of that place? We were toast. Cassie came over and sat beside me. You You saved us by getting the crystal to Erek. He used it. He he rewrote his programming. He's the one who she looked away. He he took care of the Hork-Bajir, Rachel said. I saw some of it. I was still conscious. I was confused. How did Erek take care of the Hork-Bajir? He destroyed them all, Axe said. I almost laughed. Erek took down. Erek took out 24 Hork-Bajir. No one laughed with me. Erek had stopped sobbing. I thought, why would a robot cry? All the Hork-Bajir, Axe said. All the human controllers. All of them. I stood up. I could see the Macom building. It was only a few hundred yards away. There was a big hole in the front glass. I had a very bad feeling about what was on the other side of that glass. All I could think of to say was, all of them? It lasted about 10 seconds, Rachel said. She closed her eyes, trying not to remember what she had seen. But I guess the images weren't easily shut out. She opened her eyes again, and to my utter amazement, I saw tears. That's what brought the horror home to me. Rachel's tears. It was extremely brutal, Hack said. Very brutal and very swift. He carried us here. He revived you. Even reattached my arm. I saw a scar on Axe's left arm. He hasn't said anything since then, Cassie said sadly. He won't talk to any of us. He saved us, though, right? I said. Yeah, Cassie agreed, smiling a deeply sad smile. He saved our lives and lost his own soul. I went to Erek. I wanted to thank him. I wanted to tell him he'd done what was right. He'd beaten the bad guys, saved the good guys. He stood up as I came over. You okay, man? I asked him. He looked at me with holographic human eyes. Maybe he had to choose to make them cry. Maybe he had to choose to give them that empty, hollow look. I don't know what the connection is between the android Chee and his projected human body, but his expression answered my question. No, Erek was not okay. You saved our lives, Erek, I said. How do you... How do you live with the memory? He asked me. I knew what he meant. See, win or lose, right or wrong, The memory of violence sits inside your head. It sits there like some lump you can't quite swallow. It sits there, a black hole that darkens hope and eats away at everyday happiness like a cancer. It's the shadow you take into your own heart and try to live with. I shrugged. I guess I try not to think about it. I I I try and forget. And after a while, the nightmares don't happen as much. Erek put a finger to his head. Android, he said. He made a bitter, ruined smile. I can't forget. See? I can never forget anything. I looked at him. Already in my own human mind, the memories of that night's horror were fading. The flash of blades and the pain and the sickening feeling of my fist closing around the Hork-Bajir's throat. They were being covered over by scar tissue. What if I could never forget? What if all those memories were fresh forever? I realized then why the Pemlites had forbidden their creatures to kill. The Chee lived forever. Forever was a long time to remember what Erek had done. I'm sorry, I said. Erek nodded. Yes. He held out his clenched fist, palm down. I knew what he was doing. I didn't want it, but I held out my own hand and took the Pemlite crystal from him. I've changed my programming back, Erek said. Maybe at times I can tell you things, information, but I'll never fight again. I can't join this war. My friend. He walked away. We went to our homes and crawled into beds our parents never knew we'd left. I was beyond exhausted, but I couldn't sleep. Too many images, too many memories, and I was afraid of the nightmares. There are evil things in life, and I guess there are times when a human being has to fight those evils. I closed my eyes and wandered lost and afraid through my nightmares, and already my mind was forgetting. And that's the nice, happy chapter to begin this nice, lovely week on. Ta-da! Okay. Hang on, I'm just checking something out. Okay, so next episode of this show will be the final chapter of this book, at least. So hang on one moment. Okay. So this is a very interesting chapter, very emotional, and it makes one of those chapters that does make you think, and sort of brings to light why Animorphs is so good. It gives you questions, and there are answers, but sometimes they're not really clear. And the questions are major ones. I'm going to start this chapter discussion starting a little light. every member of the group has their own part to play, and if they're not in the group, that, disturbs the group dynamics, and, there needs to be balance in the group, and that balance is obtained by each member doing their own special thing. With Cassie, it's the peacemaker, Jake's the leader, and Rachel, everyone turns to her for strength. And, by reading her books, that she's just as weak and as scared as the rest of them. But she puts on this facade of being strong and fearless just so that her friends will feel strong. And so you can tell. So Marco sees Rachel cry, which means things got so bad that Rachel's facade she just could not keep that up. She could, I made it so she sounded really strong. Not really strong, but when I read her lines this chapter, I was trying to give a sense that Rachel was fighting against showing weakness by trying to sound angry, trying to do something with her voice, trying to show any other emotion. But that could not hide what she was feeling because her facade broke. She did not break down crying. She didn't, fall on the floor sobbing, but she let out a tear. And, just that one little chink in Rachel's armor, Rachel's facade being broken made Marco go, oh shit. If Rachel is crying, if Rachel can't keep up her act, then shit has gotten real. And that's the point in the chapter where he's like, everything becomes 1,000 times more real to him. I'm also going to say that this series does definitely push the boundaries on how graphic a young adult book can get. Because there was a slaughter of Hork-Bajir, really fearsome, hard to defeat enemies. And then there's, the whole thing of Erek getting all of them over somewhere safe, which would have been very graphic, but to sort of get around this, Applegate seems to have gone, okay, we're just going to have a character describe the events so it happened without actually showing all the bloody details. And they were definitely pushing the limits last chapter when, the hole through Marco. So yeah, that was lovely seeing his own guts. But yeah, they're like, it's like, I think at this point, it's like, think of the children. You can't get too graphic. I'm sorry, but my hero was just like looking at his guts last chapter. I think I'm scarred. I think I can handle this. But I don't know. My whole views on censorship is just totally different video. Not here, but I just wanted to point that out, how they sort of got around the whole, they got around the censors by going, hey, look, we didn't show this whole gruesome scene. We're just going to talk about it. But yeah, the main meat of this chapter was near the end when Marco and Erek are having their discussion. And, Erek had previously been really big on, I want to fight, I want to help, we just can't let the Yerks take over another planet. And so he was really big on, let's get that Pemlite crystal so things can be solved. And problem was, well, besides the whole getting the crystal and nearly getting killed, he found both Erek and Marco came to a realization about why the Pemlites made, the Chee unable to actually physically fight. And I'm still going to go with the Pemlites were peaceful, creatures that didn't like to fight, so, they wouldn't program anything for violence. But I think that's one of the reasons that, the Pemlites made the Chee not able to fight. But I also agree that Marco has found another reason why the Pemlites didn't program the Chee to fight, and that's because the Chee can't forget. The Chee remember everything. And like Marco feels so horrible because this person he considered his friend, he just scarred for life. I mean, like Erek's already has this memory of his creators being killed, has the memories of the Howlers, which I'm really interested to speak about more, but that'll be for a future book. So, and now Marco's added onto Erek's pain by having not just the witnessing of a slaughter, but doing that slaughter. And Marco realizes that, he'll just, he won't fully forget, but he'll forget enough so that the pain will go away for him, just enough to continue on with his life. Well, Erek doesn't have that luxury. Erek is just going to remember that slaughter, that killing forever and ever. And besides the horror of, fighting, Erek's been a pacifist previously, so pacifist, bloody event, not able to forget. Yeah. And it's very true that us humans, our memories sometimes fade over time. Like, there are definitely some events that, that don't seem as bad to me now just because I have forgotten, like, have forgotten just enough. And also with human memory, we unintentionally lie to ourselves about past events, and that helps with our mind. So yeah. Pemlites shouldn't fight because they will remember everything. There is no getting away from all the pain. It's always going to be there. And to me, well, on one hand, I feel it's a little cop out to go, hey, look, there's these super powerful creatures that could really easily help, turn the tides of this war. But we can't use them now because we need, you know, we need for there to be, plot and drama and stuff, so we can't have that. And so on one hand, I'm like, that's sort of a cop out. But on the other hand, it is a really good reason why the Chee can't actually really join the fight because of that memory thing. So, the question I will leave you with today, little pinky out. This is like real. I got this tea at around like 10 or 11. So it's cold. It's fine though. It's fine. I don't want to waste it. But anyways, my question tonight is not about tea. It is, do you feel that the Chee not joining the fight because they'll have memories of the war that they'll never be able to forget, that will be as clear as the time it happened. Do you feel that's a cop-out, or do you think it's a reasonable explanation? Comment down below. Let's start an airy conversation. Remember, no major spoilers in the comments. So if your answer has something to do with later in the series, don't put it down. Also, I'd like you to talk about anything else you notice in this chapter, and again, no major spoilers. Also, like this video if you like tea. Yeah, tea. And if you would like to get your very own copy of Animorphs number 10, The Android by K.A. Applegate, everywhere I post this video, I post a link to where you can get your very own copy of the book. And I would suggest you buy the copy to sort of help show Scholastic that there is still an interest in this series. And also remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel, because I will not just be reading Animorphs number 10, I will be reading the entire Animorphs series. And yeah, it's like, I think the video is like 26 minutes long, which is a little longer than I like to make these videos. So, oh, geez. So, I hope everyone is staying safe. Hope you're doing well. And a little bit more about that blood work. My veins are very tiny. And I know the trick of drinking water beforehand so the veins get a little bigger, but they had to stab me in the hand again. So that was fun. And until next video, goodbye.